do you work with interim?
With Chris leaving mid-May or so, I mean, it sounds like we need to get this underway as soon as possible. So, kick it off, within the next couple of weeks. Which still means that you would conclude your process by end of July, where you would have an offer to a candidate, but that still means you might be 30 to 60 days out past that before someone would actually be in the chair. So understanding that he's moved that up, I would say get the process underway within the next couple of weeks or so. And I'm equipped to do that, ready to do that. And as far as interim services go, what I need to understand, say at the time in which I come in, is what are you looking for? So, for example, in Whitefish Bay, Steve has been there several years, working as an interim, and he came in as a retired manager. If that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for a retiree with someone that will have no stake in the game, then we need to understand that. But if you're also looking for someone that may possibly be someone to hire, then we need to understand that as well.
But Steve turned into a hire too.
Yeah, right. So his encore career, I think it was. Did I answer your question?
Would you be able to condense the process at all, or do you just really stick to 11 to 12 weeks as your process?
Well, we can condense the process. I don't advise it for several reasons. Two specific reasons. Because it's a candidate's market, I think you want to make sure that you use the full 5 weeks of advertising and outreach. And secondly, the other part that would get a little shortened would be the due diligence. In fact, we're just not comfortable doing that.
Can you talk about this assessment center a little bit? What is it? What do you provide, and what's the service?
Yeah, an assessment center can be a group of exercises, typically say about 3 exercises, in which are done in front of, say, 3 assessors that we would bring in for a day for them to observe and to grade the, say, 3 to 5 candidates or so. And those exercises can include such things as public speaking. It can also assess organizational skills, say through an in-basket exercise, or any number of other things that would appraise and assess the particular skill that you're trying to understand.
So when would that be done?
That would typically be done toward the end of the process, in which, say, you've narrowed your group down to, say, 3 to 5.
Okay.
I will tell you, assessment centers are most typically done for police and fire chiefs, not too much for administrators.
What about psychological testing? Do you recommend that for this type of a position?
For the board. Which part are you talking about? We have worked with clients that would like that done, and although, and you may have a history of that, and we're happy to do any number of tests or instruments that are available. There's plenty of stuff out there, and we have the sources to facilitate that for you.
Can you just explain real shortly, what's the temp part of the agency? You mentioned there was this temp arm which might have candidates on it.
Right. GovTemps will look for folks such as administrators or say finance directors for communities that are in need of someone to keep things moving while they're doing a search for others. So for example, we've got a number of instances in which we have placed temporary finance directors in communities. And for some, they stay there for quite a while, and others are just there to get them over the hump. We'll do the placement. The advantage that we can provide is if it's if it's a retiree, they don't want to jeopardize their WRS, or in Illinois, if they have the same rule with IMRF, and so they become our employee. So you can hire a retiree that doesn't jeopardize her WRS. And then in addition, we handle all the insurances, we handle workers' comp, and that's all part of it.
It's like a manpower.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. I
Oh,
appreciate
yeah.
it. And we'd love to have you with us.
Thank you.
Plug in there. Have a safe drive home.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, you
Bye.
should.
Thanks for coming in.
You
Scott.
bet.
So, I don't know if you have to go for this. Well, maybe.
I'll sit, so closed session.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go into closed session. I don't know if somebody will make a motion, but there's a little, before we do it, I just want to discuss one thing, and that is, how much should Tyler be in here for the closed session? Because we're going to be discussing the interim position. He might have a stake in that, so I just want to mention that. So we can go into closed session. Probably it's best if you just,
I'll just walk off.
and you'll be in your office if we need you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Take it back.
Yeah, I think we'll do a bathroom break.
We're gonna discuss this Gov HR, or
Oh,
we never just.
facility.
Can
Thank you.
You want to do the break? Can we still do the break, President Johnson, now?
Yeah, let's do the break.
Just really quick. I mean, you gotta go.
Oh, no, I can hold it.
I think it'd be,
No, in 15 minutes, you can go, you're fine, right?
let's finish the open session discussion of Gov
And
HR.
I'm sorry for my lapse there.
Move into closed session, and if you can leave, we can turn the camera off, then we can go into break from closed session.
Sure. Okay.
It seems like this is their business, recruitment is their business, and they're focused on it. And I like that, I like their national, and also they're reaching out for diversity. The other candidates hadn't mentioned that what type of process they go through. So,
Yeah.
It's definitely the most thorough.
yeah.
They did Whitefish Bay? They're
Glendale.
Oh, okay.
Glendale Racine and Oak Creek.
In Glendale, they, actually, there was kind of a predetermined internal candidate that Dick Aslowski had kind of groomed before he retired. So
Did they come up with a better candidate than this individual, or
that person got the job,
did Dick?
got Dick's old job. Dick was there. They used this recruitment firm.
But you're saying the person that was already internally groomed was the person who ultimately got the job,
Correct.
and regardless of the fact that this I mean, I was wondering if the recruitment firm found someone else who then got the job that someone had been doing for, because that would be pretty impressive.
So, now the recruitment firm, GovHR, narrowed it down to 3 or 5, I can't remember, and the 3 or 5 presented to the board, well, the city council, I should say, the city, and they selected the internal candidate, who was one of the ones that the recruitment firm had put in file with.
I would think, well, since they've just done these recent searches, they have a pretty current pool of people that are interested in the Milwaukee metropolitan area too. Right in their database and their contacts.
Well, if you looked at the one piece that showed a little bit more detail, the number of places, that they work with not only towns and villages our size, but a lot that are smaller and a lot that are bigger. That impressed me. They've got a pretty diverse client base.
To that, and maybe I should have asked this while he was in the room, he had mentioned that for our village our size, he would go from 5,000 population up to 50,000. And I guess that would have been the time to ask the question, but I'm wondering why you wouldn't look for even larger, because even though we are small, we are Metro Milwaukee area, we're not a town, or we're not upstate Wisconsin, small town.
But there might be a salary consideration or two. You're probably looking at, if you have a $100,000 or $200,000 population town, you're probably looking at, 180.
Not really, I mean, because Milwaukee's top officials don't get paid much more than we do ours.
And I would hate to not look at Madison, for example, which has a population of about 200,000 people, because, so I don't know if that's just generally where he would look, or I should have asked for the philosophy behind it.
Sure.
But
I don't know that if someone's the city manager of Madison, I mean, maybe if they wanted like a retirement, they wanted to step into retirement, they would have a smaller place, but it would be a step down for someone to go from
well,
$200,000.
if we're coaching, yes, but if we're looking for an assistant manager, or someone who's a department head, or someone who has the experience,
From Madison.
From
Madison.
Madison. yeah, and I'm not necessarily only exclusively looking for people who have served in this role, or to
Right.
coach from another municipality.
Well, I think he said that there's an association of assistants and he would do there.
And then I would hope that would extend to places of greater population than 50,000.
Yeah, I think for assistants, he would recruit any size city. I think when he made that comment, he was just thinking if they're currently an administrator or manager.
Okay.
So just as a matter of differences, the first two both offered their personal services as the interim,
Yeah.
and the third one was
Recruit.
Toulouse.
I found that, it was a little somewhat concerning, considering we will have, according to his timeline, and the other, the second individual's timeline, several months without a village manager. So to not know who would step in during that time, or
Right.
a little bit more information is,
I have a question about that, I don't know when's the right time, but a legal question about how you hire. Did we put that in our RFP? Tyler, now that you're here, so maybe ask it now.
Yeah.
That said, you're also looking to hire an interim director, right?
Well, remember when we originally put out the RFP,
not Kristen.
Chris,
I
his
understand.
retirement date was October 9, so initially
I know.
that's not. That'll be something that, depending on which direction you go, if like, for instance, you did GovHR, and right now they don't have that, that would be something that would have to be worked out in the contract, that you would need them to help to recruit and negotiate a contract for an interim manager as well.
I'm just saying, my legal question before we go into closed session so that we can actually have an informed discussion, Nathan's not here, I guess, so maybe you know the answer. We didn't advertise, we didn't go out for competitive bid for an interim services to hire someone. Do we have to? I mean, can we just hire someone that just walked in the door and told us, well, I can do it? We can.
Professional service.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's professional services and HR services.
But I think her point is that we put an RFP out for simply for recruitment services. If we were to say, make a decision based on recruitment plus interim services, that wasn't really a fair procurement process.
I just fear that, and I could be completely off, but it just rings a bell in my mind that we had 2 individuals come in and say, we can do it, and there could be 5 other women and minorities out there that also can do the exact same job, and we didn't give them that opportunity to present to us or have the ability to competitively bid on that. And I don't know, because it's professional services, our guidelines, we don't have a policy right now. That's why we're working diligently in budget committee to get something to the board. But if this had been adopted of what we're drafting, we certainly, I would assume, would have to just go out for a quick process, because it would be over $10,000 worth of services.
I mean, we're hiring a search firm